Right. As the general was speaking, we're getting word from Secretary of State Rex Tillerson on what he deems a lackluster Russian response to all of this. Disappointed in response from the Russians, indicates their continued support for this regime. He's referring to the Assad regime in Syria. I find it disappointing but sad that I have to tell you that it's not all that surprising. Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer on this, retired U.S. Army intelligence, which begs that issue that I keep raising here, Colonel, that the one-off was not just one and off.
No, I think it's a tapestry, if you will, of capabilities which have now been brought back to the table. As stipulated in several of your reports leading up to this, the Obama administration, to a fault, removed military capabilities from any negotiation. I think that gave the State Department a huge disadvantage. And so let's be very clear on what's going on here. You now have a president who has acted, which then reinvigorates everything we're doing across the board, to include especially reinvigorating one of those things that people hate to talk about, which is our nuclear deterrence program. The Japanese have been very worried about a President Obama being willing and able to respond to a North Korean provocation. And let me be clear on this. The North Koreans do have nuclear weapons. My sources tell me it's very likely they've been very successful in linking these things to more than just Scuds. And I think what we now see, and I think there's a reason why, Neil, you saw the Tomahawk missiles hitting as Donald Trump was offering bread pudding and Brandy Alexander's to President Xi at dinner last night. I think the point was made, hey, the game has changed and everybody better pay attention. You know,
I always wonder how that would played last night in Mar-a-Lago, because he apparently stepped away from the dinner briefly to make the announcement, and then go back in, I guess, say, pass potatoes. But whatever happened, I don't know. But, you know, Colonel, you could make the argument that if you're a wayward republic, a regime like that in North Korea, even to that in Syria, that hey, this might you know, behoove you to move fast with your bad stuff. If you're North Korea and you got bad stuff, launch it now, do it now.
I don't agree. Again, having studied North Korea, worked the North Korean issue since the early 90s, I know for a fact that their primary objective is regime survival. So the moment that regime believes it is being threatened, I mean realistically threatened, that they can't act out anymore, I think that tends to be the thing. And remember, Neil, we have done, talk about the definition of insanity, we have done the same thing with the North Koreans time and time again.
No, you're right. Through Democratic and Republican administrations, you're absolutely right, Tony.
So now's a potential that this president may deviate from, I hate using this term, a paradigm shift from the past, and I think this means that there could be very well some different actions against North Korea than we've seen before.
All right, paradigm. I always thought it was paradigm, but paradigm. Oh, gotcha. All right, Tony Shaffer, thank you very much, my friend. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too, sir.